I was able to make over $800 to start the month, just keeping things simple, reading the structure, following the trend, all taught in Futures 2.0 on AceFX TV, just the breakout strategy, following the bounce of a New York VWAP. I think there were some great opportunities today. I want to go over all the ideas we could have taken as well as my two trades because I think it was one of the best days to start off the month, right? We had a lot of downside potential. Before we get into that, one day, $830. If you haven't seen the February review yet, I just had posted that. I recapped my entire month, making over $7,800. A pretty healthy looking calendar of 17 days traded. It's been a while since I've traded 17 days because I've been more and more picky the more I've found my groove and the type of setup that I want to take. So if you haven't seen that, make sure you go back and check that right here on this channel. But today's setups, the first one being, I guess we can go over the charts here. A good lesson, just a small one that we might not even pick up on. Nice little bearish open again. That seems to be the common theme. We're getting these big drops at the open, not able to capitalize on them as they just rip lower. But let me wait for my pullback. You could have taken a lower day VWAP break over here, right? We have a small first break of lower day VWAP. Sellers are back in. Could have taken that. If you've seen Futures 2.0 on AceFX TV, which I really hope you have, I teach this entire strategy from A to Z. Stop loss has to be at structure. And this one would survive if you went with the correct stop loss. We could just put this here. Sellers are in. Okay, I want to be short. Where would I not want to be short anymore? Right here? At that candle up there? No. Structure all the way to the left, covering all the bases, saying as long as sellers are in, I want to be in a short. So it does take a while, right? We could move this over. It takes some time for those sellers to really step in, but I'd argue you can maybe take it to even just this point low, and you take some profits out of it right back at this lower day in case it can't break. Maybe that's not enough win for you. It's only half an arm. Okay, fair. Well, still, while you're in this trade, lower high, and it eventually does fall and pop for that 1R, 1.5R for a new lower day. So buyers were never in, so you shouldn't have lost on the short, no matter where you really sold it. Because even if you sold it here, stop loss would then at very least be at that structure, and that would not be stopped out either. So I think it was very difficult to lose money to the downside today unless you were very, I guess it would be impatient, right? Of just cutting the loss, the more and more chops, you're just cutting it of like, okay, we can't get this lower day. Let me just pull it before this comes back higher. But very simply, we're still falling on top. I don't want to be a buyer. And how many times have we seen it pop above these New York VWAPs? 2, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. It's not really buyers in control because every time they try to get above, they're getting weaker and weaker. They keep on falling. So that's a good sign for more shorts, which brings me to my short over here. I was able to get the lower day break, see a small pullback, and get in around the same price. So that was very, very good. Stop loss at structure because that's where I'd want to be out of the trade if buyers really do in fact break in and hold above New York for a more extended period of time. Thankfully, I timed it pretty perfectly as it dropped instantly. I was out of this trade in 4 minutes. For this one, we can go back to the markup. You can see the trade here. I'm in, straight drop. I didn't even close it until I closed it in 3 minutes, but it dropped another 50 points after this. But the quicker it falls, the quicker I'm out. We're back at the lower day where we bounced a few times. Let me get on out of this. Now, another driving factor of this one where I say, just keep it simple. We haven't taken out the initial balance yet, which is this red line down here. And when we haven't taken it out, one of the favorite reports I like to use is the initial balance that Edgeville offers us. So I can turn off this opening range so you guys can see it a little bit clearer. Our initial balance are these red lines up here. The first hour of the day. If you haven't checked out the Edgeville report, I highly suggest you do. Go over to Edgeville. If you want to sign up for it, the link is always in the description down below. I tweet about it all the time. But the initial balance report, you can see today, breakout, no, breakdown, yes, because we broke to the downside. But the first stat is the no break stat down here. Only 5.6% of the time would we go an entire day with never breaking out of it. Pretty low odds. So with us having not taken out a side yet, I'm figuring we're going to at some point, because the stats would say there's a 95% chance we do finally break. Okay, so now I just keep it simple. Which side looks more likely to break? The upside or the downside? Well, with these consistent lower highs and more time spent below the New York VWAP, I'd have to say the downside because it's been all bears today. Let me just lean into that. So that's what should keep you short bias because it seems more likely that we go to the downside rather than reversal back up. So I go play the first initial balance stat. I'm out before it even does break it. And then the next play I think after that would be don't chase this drift lower. See it make a new low. Pulls back. Now it's actually retesting underneath that yesterday's New York view up here in blue. So I don't want to buy the bounce there because I don't want to try to catch a falling knife. But I'm also not going to short it at the very lows below it. Wait for the pullback. You see this pullback up here off the initial bounce. So again, it's off a key level, kind of like how we were playing off the key level of New York view up earlier. Now the key level of initial balance. Sellers are back in on the lower day VWAP. Can you guess what we do? You sell it with stop loss at structure, and there she goes. That one ripped as well. I think that one was on Trump speaking about tariffs, but whatever the case was, that thing moved just following the structure. Another thing we can go back to is over here on the 15-minute. Let's clean some of this stuff up, get rid of the lower day VWAPs. But I mean, now it's one of those days again where it was super choppy potentially to start the morning. Let's just make it a 5-minute chart. It was potentially choppy up in here, right, for the first 3 hours, 4 hours. And then you look back at the day and it's like, oh, there's the trend. So you just got to be patient. Wait for the trend to step on in. It normally does, not always. There's going to be some choppy days that stay choppy. But normally sellers or buyers do step back in and we can take advantage of the trend. I didn't take my first trade until 1 o'clock. Just be patient until it presents. I don't know if it's going to present at 10 o'clock, 11. I just got to show up and follow my plan before then. I don't want to blow myself up before my plan does present because I want to be around to capitalize on it. So now here we go to the 15-minute. So coming into the open, I was potentially looking for longs because the higher highs, higher lows overnight, respecting above the daily VWAP. Okay, so let's see if we get a bullish pop here at the open. We did not. It was a bearish bar, followed by another bearish bar. All right, so maybe the longs are kind of dead because we just broke for a new lower day with some momentum, as did NQ. The VIX is ripping higher. So now I'm starting to lean into the shorts. I don't love shorting it into yesterday's New York VWAP, but yes, we are below the daily, so we're kind of pinched in between. Ideally, I'm below both of them for more shorts, or I'm above both of them for longs. But it's a pinch day, so we can still make money out of those days, but just not my favorite. But again, reading the 15-minute, why would I want to be a buyer here? Why would I want to be a buyer? I wouldn't. It's still making lower highs since the high of day. Underneath the daily VWAP, it's still making lower lows. Just follow the structure. Follow the trend. Bigger picture, it's still falling on the 15-minute underneath your VWAPs. The 1-minute is lining up with that as well. So I think simply put it, don't get too distracted or too concerned or scared by the choppiness on the 2-minute. It's just not moving as quickly as you'd like, but it's not looking like it doesn't want to go lower anymore. You can't be too scared of, oh, we tried to make a new low and we failed, so we're never going to the rest of the day. Absolutely not. It bounced there. An hour later, sellers had the strength to make a new low a day. So don't just give up on a bias because it failed once to make a new push or chopped a little bit, right? Zoom on out. We're on a 1-minute chart or 2-minute chart. There's plenty of time left in the day. Definitely still more so sellers today. So hopefully made money to the downside. And if you did not, I highly suggest you go to AceFX TV. Futures 2.0 here. I'll teach you these same strategies that we took today and I took all last month to make $7,800. The VWAP break and the VWAP bounce. You can go to the key levels chapter as well. I talk about the initial balance, the opening range report, where your stop loss and take profit should be. So even if you did sell it today, but you got stopped out early, clearly your stop losses were not correct or where they should probably be to follow the rules, have consistent profits, all those good things, right? And I should remind you guys, all these trades, for anyone that's wondering, are with my Tradeify accounts. Same thing with February, this $7,800 on 2 of the accounts. If you actually use code Evan Dyer right now, they're running 35% off if you use code Evan Dyer, any of the accounts. I'm on the straight to sim funded, but if you just put in my name at checkout, I'll save you over $200. So definitely don't pay full price. Take advantage of the sale while it does last, because I think this is one of the biggest ones they've done more recently. 35% off the accounts. Can't beat it. So definitely go ahead and use the code Evan Dyer if you're going to look to trade with Tradeify like I am. I'm loving it so far. Clearly a nice little month here in February. Looking to take a pout here. Probably by the end of the week, if not next week, because I kind of want to build it up over 5K and then take it, even though I can take one at 3,000. But regardless, check them out. Try the consistency rule, and you won't regret it. But yeah, hopefully you guys made money today. I think it was a nice little Monday to start the week. It was slower at the open, or not at the open. Right away, we saw some action, slowed on down, but don't give up on the day. We also have the rest of the week, the rest of the month. So even if we didn't find something exactly right here at 11 a.m. on a Monday morning to start the month, give it some time. We'll keep showing up. We'll be patient. We'll wait for the best setup, right? We're not going to chase these longs up here and just wait for the sellers to have the strength to push us lower, specifically to break that initial bounce, because you almost guarantee that's going to happen just because it's a 95% chance we do get out of this range, right? Makes sense? So definitely go check out Edgeful as well. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Let's have a great month. Finish this week strong. Let me know if you need me. Ask any questions in the comments, other trades you want to see, but trade safe. See you guys on the desk tomorrow morning.